Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, December 1st, 2020, and this is the first meeting of the month for the City of Tempe Hearing Officer. My name is Vanessa McDonald, and I am the Hearing Officer. Joining me today from Community Development are Shelby Meyer and Drew Yoakum. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to read something into the record this afternoon, and then we're going to jump right into our agenda. The City of Tempe Hearing Officer is authorized by Arizona Revised Statutes and the City of Tempe Zoning and Development Code. The hearing officer has the duty to carry out both the provisions and the intent of the Zoning and Development Code and the Tempe City Code. Hearing officer is granted the authority to conduct public hearings to decide upon the abatement of code violations occurring on properties, within the City of Tempe. Code violations include, but aren't limited to, deteriorated landscaping, inoperable vehicles, deteriorated structures, storage of junk or refuse, or deteriorated swimming pools. Abatement actions are brought before the hearing officer by the city's Code Compliance Division, typically after numerous attempts at contacting the property owner to obtain voluntary compliance with the code. The hearing officer may issue an order directing the owner, occupant, rental agent, property manager, or any other responsible person to abate a code violation or authorize the city to abate the condition giving rise to that violation. The cost of such abatement is the responsibility of the owner of the property where the violation occurred and is collected as an assessment against the property found to be in violation. On today's agenda, we have 4 items. We have a set of minutes from November 17th, 2020, and 3 property abatements. Any property owner who's aggrieved by a decision of the hearing officer may file an appeal within 14 calendar days after the hearing officer has made a decision. As such, the deadline for appealing any decision rendered today is 3 p.m. on December 15th, 2020. That brings us to the first item on our agenda, which is a set of minutes from the hearing held on November 17th, 2020. I had a chance to review those minutes that were sent to me, and I believe they accurately reflect what took place at that hearing. So I'm going to go ahead and approve the minutes from November 17th, 2020. This brings us to agenda item number 2. This is a request for abatement of public nuisance items at the Arroyo property. This property is located at 1637 North Sunset Drive. The applicant is the City of Tempe. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Hector Heredia, Code Inspector with the City of Tempe Community Development Department, roughly 7 years now.
Thank you.
And as stated, I am here seeking approval for a 180-day open abatement at property 1637 North Sunset Drive, property owner Francisca Arroyo.
Thank you.
So this case has roughly been pending for 15 months and 3 weeks. In the course of that 15-month period, 2 citations have been issued and defaulted on. Communication stopped after the first citation, which eliminated any options that we could present the property owner to help her or guide her through the process. Because there was a lack of communication initiated on her part, the City of Tempe allowed several extensions, where throughout the extensions, numerous anonymous complaints continued to come through, although we were working with the property owner. Roughly about a month ago, the property owner completely stopped any type of even acknowledgement by pasting a note on her door saying that we were not welcomed. At that point, we went ahead and initiated the abatement process. I was by the property this morning at roughly 11:30 a.m. and took pictures, which I have a packet for yourself if you'd like to see them in more detail.
Thank you. Yes, if you can put them up on the, well, if you can use
But
the.
I also have a copy myself.
Well, I just want them to be up on the monitor for anyone who may be watching.
So that is the southern portion of the backyard. This is a little bit more centralized, but still closer to the southern portion of the property. This is more the center of the backyard property. This is a picture of the northern portion of the backyard.
So really not much different than the
And
pictures
nothing
that
at
I
all has
was,
been done. I mean, not a single item has been lifted from where it initially laid when the case was initiated. So again, at this point, I am seeking an open abatement approval of 180 days, uh, hoping to clean the
just out
property.
of curiosity, I mean, normally cases come here after 5, 6 months. Why was this particular property owner given such an extraordinary amount of time?
She is an elderly property owner, and working with her and also providing her benefit of the doubt that she would that she would
Take care of things?
yes, excuse me, take care of
Yeah,
things as promised. Lost my train of thought. Yes,
right,
yes, she never did. And then the pandemic hit. So throughout the pandemic, we were continuously trying to contact her. Citations were issued. No response was ever returned or communication initiated. So I really just limited any options that I could present her. And because at this point, 15 months later, absolutely nothing has been done, is why we're proceeding forward.
right. I just, I'm just out of curiosity, I wonder, because this is a large abatement from a dollar value.
Yes.
Had it happened 6 months ago, would it be that big? Or I suppose it would have, right? Because nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. It's been the same amount of debris the
Okay,
entire time. Nothing has been
she
brought
hasn't
out.
added to it.
Yes, she's added to it, and also stated to me that she occasionally goes to the swap meets and tries to sell some of these items off more regularly, going to yard sales, collecting these items, and then trying to resell them at swap meets or at her own yard sales,
Right,
but can clearly see that those have been failed attempts to do so, and has not been able to store any of the items, useful or not, in an appropriate storage facility or at least within her home.
right.
Because numerous attempts have been made anonymously as well as officially from our department, um, being that nothing has been done, or again, the lack of communication really limits the opportunities
Sure,
or options that we could present her. So
right.
again, we're here seeking that
Okay,
approval.
thank you. Has there been any public comment on, or anyone wanting to comment?
We've received no communication at this time.
Okay, thank you. Well, given that there's no public comment on this item, given the photographs that you've shown us today, I agree with your assessment of the property, and I am granting you the 180-day open abatement request contained in CE 195239 for the Arroyo property.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is the request for abatement of public nuisance items at the Knapp property. This property is located at 340 East Papago Drive. The applicant is the City of Tempe, represented again by Hector Heredia.
Again, Hector Heredia, Code Inspector, approximately 7 years with the Department Code Compliance with the Community Development Department in the Division of Code Enforcement. This case was initiated 18 months and 3 weeks ago. Again, similar situation to previous, where multiple letters and as well citations were issued throughout that 18-month period, where the property owner never initiated any kind of contact, but would try to block our vision by raising rudimentary walls up in her backyard kind of obscuring our view into her backyard and properly assessing it after sending violating notices from from being able, to verify that there were numerous items back there as well as under the carport. Miss Knapp or Robin Knapp, property owner at 340 East Papago Drive, has blatantly avoided any type of communication, and as can be seen here in the photos taken this morning, that lack of action again has pressured my department to follow through with the process after providing several different types of assistant flyers, including heart program, to see if something could be done or if assistance could be provided for the property owner to address this concern. Throughout that 18-month period as well, multiple anonymous concerns have come in from neighboring properties concerned that the property is dilapidating at a fairly rapid rate, where numerous items continue to come in and out, but from my standpoint can't clearly visualize them because of the rudimentary walls that have been lifted and blocking my view from public access point.
Right.
These photos will illustrate the following. This is the western portion of the backyard.
Wow.
This is more the central portion of the backyard taken from the eastern corner of the alley. This is more of a clear view. And as you can see, all of these, what would be considered as well, junk, trash, debris, the scrap wood and scrap metal, and the scrapped tarps that continuously hinder our vision past that viewpoint, although was verified at the beginning of the case.
Sure.
She tried to somehow hide the items that were behind there by raising these walls, but can clearly see that is still a major concern. Underneath the tarp is where a majority of the junk trash or the smaller items have been stored within that accessory building, and the larger portions, as can be seen around the vehicle, continue to line the entire back portion of it. Although we cannot see back there, that's what initiated the case.
Sure. And I assume the vehicle's unregistered, inoperable.
In the city of Tempe, you can have up to 2 vehicles in the backyard as long as they're underneath the height of the fence in any condition, operable or not,
Okay.
registered or not. So this vehicle, although may appear to be an item back there, is not out of compliance.
Okay.
And this is the final portion where some attempts were taken to address some of the concerns in the front yard, but the projects were never finished. And as you can see here, all of the building material or revamping material has been laid up on the front of the house, visible from multiple public access points along the same street, but at different points of the street,
Right.
which would be Papago. So at this point, I am also seeking a 180-day open abatement to assure that the city of Tempe can help this property come back into compliance by eliminating the junk, trash, debris that is clearly verifiable in the backyard.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Yocum, anyone from the public wishing to address this item?
We've received no communication at this time.
Okay, thank you. Well, Mr. Heredia, I applaud you for your patience with both this case and the last case. I don't know that I would have been so patient with these property owners. I think sometimes we're accused of being a little bit heartless within this process, but I think you've given these property owners chance after chance after chance to, remediate their properties. And what some of them don't understand is that they're unable to operate a secondhand store, out of their home. You can't be a salvage dealer out of your yard. You know, there are licenses for that. They need storefronts and indoor storage for that. So I agree with your assessment. I'm granting your 180-day
Thank you.
open abatement for the property located at 340 East Papago Drive and complaint number CE 193433. Thank you
Thank
and
you
have a
very
good
much. Have a
night.
nice evening. Thank you.
This brings us to our last agenda item. This is a request to abate public nuisance items at the Moawid Arbolí property located at 1015 East Frost Drive. The applicant is the City of Tempe Code Compliance, represented today by Julie Schofield.
Good afternoon, Julie Schofield, Code Inspector for the City of Tempe. I am here today to talk about the property at 1015 East Frost Drive. There has been several attempts to get the property in compliance, and basically Miss Moahed Ardbili, likes to store stuff in her porch area in the front of the property. She's actually been in violation for this multiple times. And she also now has an unregistered vehicle in the driveway. Contact has tried to been made with the property owner with no success. So today, this is what the property looks like. That is just the front of the house. And there's a small amount of items. Excuse me. But these items will grow and be there for lengths of time. This case has been open since August.
Wow. So is it the box stuff on the side, like what looks like Amazon deliveries or?
Yes, a lot of it is cat items, food, bags of dry food. As you can see, and
Or
there's actually a cat right there.
yeah.
And she has an unregistered vehicle in the driveway. And it expired in July of 20. I did have it ran, and it is in fact still expired.
Okay.
So at this time, I'd like to ask for a 180-day open abatement for mostly the items being stored out in the front. Like I said, she has a habit of storing these packages that are being delivered, and then they just sit there.
Right. And what has the communication been with her?
I have had no success getting a hold of the property owner.
Okay. Great. Mr. Yocum, anyone from the public wanting to speak?
We've had no communication at this time.
Okay. Well, I agree with you, and if she's a repeat offender, I think we need to kind of keep her on a short leash, so to speak. So given that there's no public comment, given the observation of the property today and, in the photographs in my packet, I'm going to go ahead and approve the abatement for the property at 1015 East Frost Drive in complaint CE 205035.
Thank you.
Thank you. Staff, are there any announcements?
Yes, the next hearing officer meeting will be scheduled for December 15th here in the council chambers and online at 5 p.m.
Okay, great. Thank you. There being no further items or discussion, we're adjourned.